across the halfway line. Now for a throw-in.
The great thing you get out of the Sporting Kansas City striker, Taylor Calhada, is his engine. He constantly moves all over the field. What you just saw dropping down into the pocket, back to goal. What you want to watch, though, is how he handles some of the physical side of the game, bouncing off players, and also his release. It's got to be much faster at this level than what he saw in championship play.
Saw the starting lineup come across the bottom of your screen. Again, a 4-4-2 from Rafa Vicky, who's been tinkering with things for Sporting Kansas City this year. He's made 4 changes to this lineup. This is one of those changes. Zoran Basson, who's making his first start of the season. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury, worked his way back into a few more minutes. It's Berg Janssen now on it for Sporting Kansas City. All the way back to the goalkeeper, Cleveland, who's making his 3rd start in a row. Jake Davis lost control of it. Taken by Cerrillo of the Galaxy. Now they come down the left-hand side. Sanabria. Royce. Now back to the left-hand side once again in Nelson. So the LA Galaxy dealt with a lot of injuries again this year. More news on the injury front with Joao Klaus going on the injured list today, which frees up a roster spot for the Galaxy. He's got to stay out for 6 games at a minimum in order for them to get that roster relief. All the way back to the goalkeeper it goes, and now they play it forward to Cerrillo.
It very much went from surviving to thriving for the Galaxy in the absence of all the bigger names that frequent the team sheet. The win over RSL a couple of weeks back turns it around. The quality draw against Vancouver should have been a win, if not for the late game letdown. And with that change of identity, just getting to the World Cup break.
Down the left-hand side it goes, but the offside flag will come up on Harbour Miller.
You get health, you get movement in the transfer market. The sustained belief that the group enters the break with, and then a turnaround for head coach Rafa Wicki of Sporting Kansas City that is going to be much larger in nature, at least he hopes. Needs more of an identity within this group. They're young, they're hungry, but the lack of confidence has caused quite inconsistent performances. I would still maintain that this idea that they're going to play the game right where you're at right now, whether attacking on the ball or defensively, is certainly where we've seen them succeed the most.
Here's Reed trying to put it in for Calhada, but he's muscled off the ball by Garces. Capita, one of the newcomers for Sporting Kansas City, on it now. He tries to play it forward to Calhada. Once again, tackled away by Garces. Capita pounces on it. Driving toward the byline, putting it across, and it's tackled behind. Sporting Kansas City, a little more progressive, especially in the counterattack, and they get a corner.
The 3 are going to be fun to watch. Calhada, Jake Davis, and Capita not being together regularly. They're trying to find rhythm within it, so decision-making not at a premium, but a good start. I like the matchup against Nelson and Harbour Miller, especially as Miller inverts a little bit. You get more of a 2v1 situation, forcing the Galaxy to react defensively.
Lasse Berg Janssen drives it in over the head of Reed. I got a piece of it down to the near side. It's helped forward, but a man down for the Galaxy. It's Jakob Glesnes, who's down with a head injury, so play is stopped. And this is a player who's returned to the lineup for the Galaxy. He's done wonders for their side.
Elbow Jaden Reed, 99 in blue. Left arm's just, it's incidental, but it is away from the body just a tad.
Greg Vanney's LA Galaxy side, he says they feel like they've spent the entire season on the road so far this year. I mean, they started off with international competitions, traveling to Jamaica, trips like Jamaica all the way to Portland, and they're right now in the middle of a 3-match away stretch where they will not go back to Los Angeles. They came straight to Kansas City from Atlanta where they got that big 2-1 win, and then it's on to Seattle next. So his team, they're trying to survive this first half of the season before the summer break, especially with all the travel they've done.
First match of the year, CONCACAF Champions Cup back on February 19th. If you run all the way through what was a 9-game stretch till the end of March, both domestic and international cup play, They only had one training session midweek. Every single week after that was trying to find a way to keep everybody healthy and just regen to get back on the pitch. With all the injuries that they compiled, you had no idea how you wanted to play. And then that stubborn part came in about, well, do we need to change? Should we? By the time that he finally pulled the cord on it and said, okay, this is the way that we're going to be, now the results are starting to follow. Doesn't hurt that they've also had 5 midweek training sessions over the last 44 days to get everybody back on track.
Glesnes is one of those players who has suffered an injury through the course of this season. One of the most durable players through his time in Major League Soccer. In fact, at one point had started over 100 straight games, but he missed early March through late April with a calf strain. Told me that he really frustrating as a guy who's used to being counted on to play. And when he's come back, you pointed it out when we did the starting lineups, the results have been better for the Galaxy. He's waiting to check back in now as we're underway. And it's Joveljic. And without Glesnes out there, Sporting might try to pounce quickly. For the ball by Joveljic, just a little off the mark. And the goalkeeper, Marcinkowski, comes out to cover it. And Glesnes back out onto the field now. We referenced this a couple of times early that Sporting Kansas City's only win on the season came at the expense of this Galaxy side. That's another reason LA won't take this match lightly. And some pointed out, including Eric Tommy, who was on the other side of this rivalry. He plays for the Galaxy now. He was with Sporting last year. Sporting won a game against the Galaxy last year without taking a shot, which is a hard thing to do. So weird things happen when these two teams play. Here's Jake Davis. Capita. Davis did well to keep it away from Paintsel.
That's a good recovery by Davis. He was caught a bit narrow. The positioning of Harbor Miller. Well done to get back to the outside.
Now Harris trying to put it through for Reed. Muscled off the ball. Good positioning, says the referee, by Jakob Glesnes.
That's incredible defending. And you'll recognize on the back end what looked to be the studs of Reed just getting caught up underneath him. Dominant position. Glesnes steps in front. It's lateral movement. From that angle looks to be spot on. And it's his explosive behavior as a defender, the way that he closes down space in one-on-one situations that has allowed this team to be more aggressive higher up the field.
Davis trying to slide it through for Harris. Harris stayed on his feet. A good save by Marcinkowski with some defensive help from Glesnes, who clears it down the park. But Sporting Kansas City have created a couple of half chances in the early going here. This is Reed. Some fancy footwork. Calhera now. Back to Reed. Rafa Wicki wanted a little more aggression from his team, a little more confidence, and he's seeing it so far. Bassan, too far ahead of Reed, now for a goal kick.
A better overall. On that higher line that we've referenced for Sporting Kansas City. Jake Davis on the repress. Notice head up. Something that they've really struggled with, playing the game with their back to goal and trying to work off of each other instead of being able to chase, really change the overall shape of the LA Galaxy.
Calvin Harris looking for his first goal on the season with Sporting. He's been close a couple of times recently. Denied by some good glove work from Marcinkowski this time around.
That's also why I like the shape change tonight, though, because whether they're sitting in a double pivot with 4 at the back, you play with a single 10, you play 3 on a high front line. The mirror winger has always been something very different. Suleimanov and Harris. When Mano Garcia floats out of the pocket and Shapi Suleimanov, it's very difficult to create a like for like, and that's what this does. So you allow yourself to hold tighter lines, keep the game in front. Now Harris and Capita can still play the game inverted, which gets the outside backs high, but for Sporting Kansas City, you have a lot of very similar positional traits for each player, which, what's the word of the night for Sporting? Consistency. They haven't been able to provide themselves any of that at the beginning portion of this season, but good start tonight so far.
And they've got their second corner kick through the first 12 minutes because of some clever dribbling from Capita. In by Berg Janssen. Headed away by Glesnes. Paintsel
Nice ball.
flicks it forward, and he's got the on-rushing Gabriel Peck driving forward.
Look at Paintsel in the back post.
He is busting it right down the middle of the park, and it's in, and it's turned away on the recovery run by Kapita.
That's great vision for both teams, though. Love the way the far side of the field opens up for the Galaxy, but you notice Ian James, Jake Davis, the whole back line retreating, and there is the speed of Kapita drifting all the way back. They felt like he's had to defend too much, and they want him to be able to play the other way. Find him in transition. A heck of a work rate to be able to lock down the space in front of Paintsel.
This leads to the first corner kick for the Galaxy on the night as Marco Royce stands waiting for a ball to be delivered to him. John Nelson comes over to roll one down to the corner for him. Royce played 25 minutes against Atlanta, coming back from a foot contusion, and had the assist and also set up the game-winning goal. Now he lines up for this corner. Royce, in swinger. Reed heads away. Cuevas, he'll serve it toward the back post. It falls to Royce. Immediately double-teamed as he dribbles away from goal. Served back in. This time away by Joveljic. Falls to Cuevas. He'll measure one up. Cuevas right into the belly of Stephen Cleveland. Now Cleveland has to scoop it out from under his feet and tries to get it to Reed. Trying to hold it up against Peck, who takes it away. Galaxy on the front foot now. The ball was broken up by Reed. He's going to clear it away. Combination play on the right-hand side again. Peck trying to play it in for Royce. Flicked away by Ian James at the last moment. This exclusive Netcam replay is brought to you by AT&T.
It's at least a half chance from distance. One of the great advances they've gotten off the back line. LA Galaxy has been the form of Mauricio Cuevas. They're finding that 20-25 yard gap on the right side in their overall build, and seems to have hit the release button a little bit too early in the middle portion of this stretch, but last couple of matches, much smarter decision making overall. It's a scouting report for you on Sunday, right?
There is no scouting report.
So they burned it.
Unconventional. Forward by Joveljic and right to the goalkeeper. Marcinkowski was wise to it. Sporting Kansas City, as we mentioned, opening on the front foot. They've taken it away from the Galaxy a few times in their defensive third, and the Galaxy's defensive third, and having more of the ball so far. Quarter of an hour in, though, nothing to show for it yet. Speck. He's closed down by Wyatt Meyer, who keeps it in. Berg Janssen with it now. Jake Davis drives it low, looking for Harris. Harris has it on the rebound. He takes the shot. Marcinkowski, did he let it go?
That's a good step, though.
Yeah.
And Calvin Harris, both he and Caballero really good on the quick inversions. The first step that creates fast tempo for him. The song pulls out of it. There's some indecision there for a second, and the hesitation doesn't allow Calvin Harris to get all the way through the ball. But I love the idea to quickly just roll his studs up over the top and have a go.
Sporting impressed on these goal kicks, and they've gotten a few takeaways in the early going with that pressure. This is off Sporting for a throw-in. Up the line for Harbor Miller. He's going to leave it.
Not just the pressure up high from Sporting, it's the discipline that you're getting off camera with the entire back four and midfield really working hard to make sure that not only are they covering ground, it's with a purpose. Really good with their marks, not conceding anything in behind to the Galaxy. It is one of the ones that eventually, Nate, you just got to hit the release button if you're on the back line. any of the four, really. You pick your head up, the pressure's constantly coming. Even if you don't have that immediate link up, take it 40 yards. Push your line higher up, and you become the team that starts to be the aggressor instead of what Sporting presenting right now.
Jake Davis wins it back again for Sporting. Berg Janssen, though, slow on the ball, and it's taken by the Galaxy. Here's a danger man, Peck. He tries to slide it through. That was a full extension tackle from Meyer to avoid disaster for Sporting Kansas City. Not out of the woods yet as Cleveland is an awkward clearance. Sporting will get a throw in out of it. That was a big-time tackle from Wyatt Meyer. Came in as a free agent in early February. A lot of the work for Sporting was done in terms of assembling this roster really late up until the start of the season and even into the start of the season. Peck with a nice layoff, and Cuevas comes streaming down the right-hand side. Cuevas still into the area. He goes onto his left foot, straight at the keeper.
You got to be careful here if you're Zorn Basson, giving too much of the field away. The great thing about the midfielder is how he closed space down at that outside back spot, watch his hips, close himself off too much. He recognizes the scouting report on Cuevas is going to be keep him away from his right foot. He's still got a strong left. You allow him that much space, he'll make you pay. You got to be real careful.
Well, that was one of the recurring themes in that 6-0 loss to Portland, just backing away. And yeah, there were some long-range shots by Portland, but they were fairly uncontested.
But understand, in that situation for the defender, I'm not concerned with what he's doing positionally in terms of where he's out on the field. Slowing the game down, you allow defensive support to come in behind you. It's more so the angle that you're presenting to the attacker and giving him more options. You want to push him to the byline so that all he could do is come back across it.
Cuevas tried to cross it there, and it's out for a corner kick.
By fully turning your hips, it's much easier for a player to cut back to the inside and have a strike. This is better. So again, over the back shoulder of Wyatt Meyer, you're 3v1, you've got a player tracking in transition, you're forcing the ball in the direction that you want, so that even if it comes in, you don't want it to, you've at least set yourself defensively instead of chasing the game.
Calvin Harris is the man down for Sporting at the end of the play. Back up to his feet now. Corner number 2 for the Galaxy. Outswinger from Royce. Over everybody. Sanabria and Basson giving chase. Basson pokes it away, and a throw in for the Galaxy. Sanabria in his more natural position here today compared to where he saw himself in the starting 11 against Atlanta over the weekend. It's taken away by Sporting as Jake Davis pokes it forward. Calhera in trouble, though, gives it back. That was an awkward one from Glesnes, but the Galaxy able to maintain possession. Sporting Kansas City dropping into a deeper block now as Garces drives it forward. Nelson. To ground he goes. Referee was... maybe had the option to play advantage there, but he calls for the foul instead.
There's not a ton in it, but the hands away from the body in front of the center referee is never going to win you a popularity contest. I just love that from a player. What'd I do? Well, you know, head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
2 hands to the back.
Yeah.
Usually he'll get you the call. .36-year-old Marco Royce. Second year with the Galaxy. Lines up. And by Royce. right at the goalkeeper. Formula One heads north to Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix at the iconic circuit Gilles Villeneuve. The championship battle intensifies, and you can watch the race live Sunday, May 20th on Apple TV, the new U.S. home of Formula One. We'll see if Kimi Antonelli can make it 4 in a row for Mercedes.
You've really been working with your dialect coach. The pronunciation is spot on. Love the accent.
Oui, oui. Harris down the left-hand side for Sporting. Now Reed. Calhera with a nice touch to get it back to Berg Janssen, who has to reverse course. Harris again. Working on Cuevas. Putting it across. Glesnes side foots away. Reed recovers for Sporting. He drives it in. Jake Reed! Jake Davis. Jake Davis into the stands.
It's a tough one where Davis catches this from. As tight as the line is on the back post, the amount of space available, the eyes light up. And you feel like you've got an ability to hit it and can understand the idea. Because he's moving away from it, really the only option. Doesn't have support on the outside. Get step on it. Then you allow the Galaxy to apply more pressure.
Jake Davis has gone full 90 in 3 straight. Spent a lot of time in the midfield for Sporting Kansas City over the years, but then rotating back to that right fullback position where he's playing today.
His 100th MLS appearance for Sporting Kansas City as a homegrown, just 24 years of age, is now Sporting's longest tenured player. It gives you an idea of the rebuild that they're in the midst of, that a 24-year-old is gaining all the glitz and glamour, so to speak.
Complete on the statistician sheet.
Galaxy coming down that right-hand side. Again, it's Pet with a full head of steam. And it falls to Royce, and it's deflected by Ian James. It'll be a corner for the Galaxy.
Great step into the pocket by the young center back. I love how it collapses here. Royce recognizes right of the way the window available on the far post, but Ian James quickly, he sees the threat, eliminates the angle, and closes the gap. It's good defending.
Cuevas cut off there by Capita. He clears it away. Cuevas again. He drives it in. Harris just turns it behind for another corner kick. Much pressure around Harris there, but he didn't want to take any chances.
Yeah, I'm not taking chances there. That ball's going over the end line 9 times out of 10. Even if you peek over your shoulder, you scan real quick, that ball's moving negative inside the box. That space over his shoulder could have easily been closed down in the time that he peeked over it. And then the physical side comes, you cough up a ball, Galaxy on the run.
Paintsel drives it in. Basson flicks it away, but awkwardly so, and it's behind once again for a Galaxy corner. Taken quickly by the Galaxy. They've been using their short corner routine here during this sequence 3 times in a row. This is Paintsel. Now Royce putting it across, pinballs around. Capizza's able to clear it out for a throw-in. It's spell for the Galaxy here, and they can sense that they've got Sporting Kansas City pinned in, so they've been playing quickly on these restarts.
Joveljic and Calera got to move quicker on the defensive side, push this line higher. Their work rate off the ball doesn't give them any sort of presence on the turnovers they're creating. This is better. So you shift one back up high. Now you've got your flat lines, and if you're Galaxy, I'd be hitting the diagonal up over the top as they start to move themselves back out. Play in that half space and behind. Let your teammates run into transition instead of trying to create all these little 5-10 yard balls.
Sporting Kansas City have a man down. It's Capita Kapemba. So Rafa Wicki might need to dip into this bench before he wants to. These are the team benches built by the Home Depot. And they've been struggling for injuries so far, Sporting Kansas City. A couple of guys back may be available. Justin Reynolds, who's been dealing with an injury. But if they need to make an attacking sub, Stephen Afrifa could be an option.
Now the good news for Greg Vanney and the Galaxy, Nascimento finally available. We saw Eric Tommy come back against Atlanta United, instrumental in their comeback victory. Yoshida and Yamane available off the bench as well. Not that Vanney wants to go defensive, but certainly the depth that has really been tested over the past 6 weeks starting to come back into full fitness for the Galaxy.
As they continue to work on Kapita Kapemba, we saw earlier on the bench there, Eric Tommy, former Sporting Kansas City man in his first year with the Galaxy, and so he was a familiar face to some members of the staff, including Kitman there. Mike Flaherty.
And just 31 years of age, Eric Tommy. Feels like there's a ton of football left in him. Great times with Sporting Kansas City. You and I shared some moments with him yesterday, talked about the inaugural season, their Open Cup run to the semifinal, and then working through some of the growing pains over the past couple of years, trying to jumping all the way to the West Coast. Still got that fresh fade. Found a good barber, apparently.
Always clean cut, Eric Tommy. Kapita looks to be poised to come back into the match. Of course, with the on-field treatment rule, he's got to stay on the side for a moment as we're back underway here. 30th minute, scoreless between Sporting Kansas City and the Galaxy. Sporting started off optimistically and on the front foot. Galaxy have found their footing a little bit as the match has gone on here. They've had Sporting Kansas City pinned back over the last 5 minutes or so. Thanks in large part to this man, Royce. Paints will let that one run, cleared away by Wyatt Meyer.
As tight as the field has become for Galaxy, though, and certainly more ball dominant. The great thing about what they've done defensively, they've pinned Sporting in. The bad news is when you work to either side of the field, they don't have enough personnel to work off of.
Cerrillo trying to drop this in for Cuevas. He's able to keep it in play. Peck on the near side now. Cuevas came from an offside position.
Mauricio Cuevas, John Nelson, his mirror on the far side of the field. You push in deep, automatically Harbor Miller and Peck are going to be inverted. So you have a direct route into the box with Paintsell, but now you're looking for a second and third stepping stone to play off of. So you've got to shift towards that near side run that we just saw instead of the one-on-one, because then it just becomes, you're just changing patterns, but you're attacking space and no one's there. Again, it allows Sporting Kansas City defensively to just, okay, fine, hit that 30-yard ball. I'll take a quick little trot over, shift to the other side of the field, and no one's the wiser. Strength in numbers. Easier said than done, but that's the idea of it.
It's a touch tackle from Calvin Harris, so he's called for the foul on Sanabria. Harris signed as a free agent in the offseason. Most recently with Colorado. Sporting stepping up the pressure again. Paintsell been fairly quiet so far for the LA Galaxy, playing in that central striker role. That's a lazy pass. Ooh, and Jaden Reed could have been off to the races. That was a vital tackle by Cuevas, and releases Peck forward. He tries the through ball. Another full extension tackle by Wyatt Meyer. But again, the Galaxy coming forward. Sanabria. Cerrillo. He loses out. Berg Janssen forward. He's got numbers. Sliding it through for Harris. Harris putting it across. Kapita! Sporting Kansas City hit in transition. Kapita's got his first goal in Major
Major League Soccer. Sporting lead at 1-0.
Wild how disorganized they are off the ball here defensively. If not for Lasse Berg-Johnsen. The Calhera had his positioning wrong underneath Joveljic, and as he starts playing cat and mouse, it's a loose touch. Berg-Johnsen picks it up, and I love how he calls Joveljic off. Helps keep the width of the field for Harris. Capita can keep his run. With all the open real estate in front of him, exactly what Sporting Kansas City have been chasing. Release the wings, play the game downhill. Great combination play to the outside, and Harris finding Capita just inside the 18. Beautiful movement by Sporting.
He was brought in from Poland, where he had been playing his pro ball, the Angolan, and the pace was what Sporting Kansas City wanted from him, and they got it here as Rafa Wicky's side have gone in front. Back underway we go. Sporting Kansas City trying to be the bogey team for the LA Galaxy. We mentioned it earlier. They've only got one win on the season, Sporting, but that came at the expense of the Galaxy. And they've jumped out to a 1-0 lead here. Capita wasn't acquired until the middle of March, so it took a while to get him implemented into the system. And he seems to be growing in confidence. And it's one of the things, Devin, you mentioned as we started this show today. Sporting have got to find a way to get him more touches in the attack, and they did so to perfection here. Now they take it away again. It's Berg-Johnsen in for Joveljic. Calhera now. Berg-Johnsen scooping it in for Harris. Joveljic off the post. The flag did come up. It took a while, but Harris was in an offside position.
It's a good look by Berg-Johnsen again in the midfield. An absolute destroyer over the past couple of minutes. Calhera had come down into the pocket again. I'm not overly fond of his relationship with the two pivots in Bassong and Berg-Johnsen. That's a communication issue. Making sure that you're getting him to the right space. The good news is the midfield's playing higher. They're working off of him and at least finding the gaps when the second striker's not getting there.
This is the win probability, and boy, things have changed. Sporting Kansas City, less than a 25% chance of winning at the outset of the match, but now, having gone in front, over a 50% chance of coming up with 3 points here, according to the models. Still a long way to go.
Think about the chat with head coach Rafa Vicky, who's talking about positionally where he wants his wingers, Harris and Capita. How the midfielders need to start to close down space centrally, how positionally on the field they have to change the game, and yet in one single movement on their opening goal, you get all of it. It's 15 seconds. Everything that we took away from the midweek phone call playing out in front of us.
Here's Capita, the goal scorer. Driving toward the byline, cutting it back, maintaining his balance. Back to Davis. Now Bassong. And out for a throw-in. Zoran Bassong has his eyes on qualifying for that, or getting selected for that Canadian national team when the World Cup rolls around, so he's been really chomping at the bit to get back out there. With a hamstring injury for most of the season, lofts it forward. Joveljic chests it down.
Nice touch.
It's Reed. Now Harris. In by Harris and caught by Marcinkowski. Don't miss your chance to see the biggest stars in the North American soccer fresh off a global summer of soccer at the 2026 MLS All-Star Game presented by Chime in Charlotte, July 29. Tickets are on sale now at mlssoccer.com/all-star. By the way, MLS All-Star voting opened today.
You fill your bracket out?
Not yet. I want to make sure that I've really fully considered things, but it's going to happen this week. You can vote as many times as you like, from what I understand. Here's a long switch for Harbor Miller. Goes down by Jake Davis. And then Miller called for the foul on Capita. Zoran Basson came over to express some displeasure with the tackle by Miller. One of the things that Rafa Wicki said he was excited about having Basson back in the 11 was a little bit of spunk, a little bit of...
He's got bite.
Yeah, bite. There's a good word.
Never say die, won't back down attitude. I like his efficiency on the ball, where a team that's struggling to move balls together, side to side, and play through the midfield, they've bypassed it a lot. He's so clean in his decision making. He also understands so many different positions on the field because he's been asked to play them. So he reads the game at a very different level.
Galaxy coming forward again. Here's Royce. Broken up by James, falls to Paintsel. Royce again. Royce! Over the bar.
Still like to see this team move more in sync when they make their way to the far side of the field. Everything is either on the same plane, or when you work through it, it's individualized. And I don't mind it from Royce from that distance. It's certainly not coming off of his foot. But the story of this team throughout the course of this first half has been when they played in transition, they haven't made the appropriate decisions. And when they've been able to open up space in the flanks due to these long changes, 40-yard switches, support's not moving with them. Sporting have been good enough defensively, just shifting back over to close it down.
On the flip side, what about the work effort there from Jovalic to win the tackle against Glesnes and earn the throw-in for Sporting? Players given away by Basson. It's Peck driving into the penalty area. Basson at least recovers to force him backward for now. Peck driving it in, cross, and side-footed away by Meyer. Sporting Kansas City looking for their first win at home all season. And when you talk about three teams in MLS who have yet to win in their home stadiums, the other two would be a massive surprise. Philadelphia and Miami. Philadelphia, the defending Supporter Shield winners, they're having a tough start to the season, to put it kindly. And Miami, though, haven't won yet in their new building.
Yeah, Miami's got more road wins than anyone in the league, but also the second most wins in general. And might get a card here too.
First card of the night for either side goes to the Canadian.
It's not just this infraction. It's in from behind, and Painsil's got an attacking motion to him, but also the third infraction we've seen in the last 10 minutes for Zoran Basson. Not a ton in it, but it's going to be in front of the referee. You prohibit the ability for the moment to keep going forward for Painsil. It's the correct decision.
Stephen Cleveland, who's worked his way into the starting 11 for Sporting KC, making his third straight start. Marco Royce, is he close enough to have a go here? Everybody lined up on the 18. Plays it short, gets it back. Does Royce chipping it in for Peck, but it's headed away. Berg Janssen was wise to the training ground routine from the Galaxy that time. Cuevas. Now Peck again. Whoops, through the legs of Reed, and Reed wasn't going to let him go by.
He's so quick when he wants to be, Peck. And certainly that first step, Jaden Reed's no slouch himself. That's why they call it a game, Nate.
Well, Reed said
Supposed to be fun.
you might get it through the legs, but you're not getting it on the other side. So free kick for a Galaxy here.
We've seen a lot of trickery from dead ball restarts. Saw one moments ago down in the corner. Capita's stepped up to Peck. Won't happen. Direct in.
And by Cuevas, headed by Glesnes from a tough angle behind for a goal kick. The player comparison is presented by Celsius, pure passion and maximum energy with zero sugar. Capita versus Royce when it comes to XG so far. Capita's got the goal for Sporting KC. And here they come again. It's Joveljic, closed down by Glesnes. And then Cerrillo. Sporting get a throw in out of it.
It's a great step over there by Jakob Glesnes.
What a difference he's made for the Galaxy.
Well, he also understands the scout against Joveljic, who, as he's dragging the players with him, and it's away from the run of play, ball steps in. He only wants to go one spot there, and it's the space in behind him. Good job by the center back.
Here's Capita. It'll be a corner. Sporting Kansas City, it's been a dream start to this half, or to this game, I should say. We're toward the end of the first half. Berg Janssen, headed up into the air. Shot by Capita blocked. Berg Janssen drives it in again. Bouncing along the 6 and into the arms of Marcinkowski. Calhera was lurking there.
Smart. Marcinkowski had the ability to hit Peck in. Wattmeyer had a really good angle on that ball. Just seemed to lose his momentum as he went vertical.
Now Sanabria driving forward for the Galaxy. 5 minutes of stoppage time to close out this first half. The Galaxy have not been very successful at overturning early deficits, but they did do so against Atlanta on Saturday. They give it away here. Good recovery tackle from Glesnes, and it's out for a throw-in. Davis. Capita. Poked away by Miller, but Sporting stay in possession here. Berg Janssen now. Now Basson. Harris. Falls to Calhera. In the end, it was cleared away by Glesnes. Berg Janssen recovered, but his pass was off the mark, and it's taken by the Galaxy. And a chance for some space here. Royce.
It's a great ball. Stop the run. Painsa was in an offside position as he drifted back on, gave up on it, and Royce thought we're just beginning. There's a weird dynamic within the Galaxy tonight where no one really to take the grasp of the game and challenge someone in one-on-ones, but then also when they are doing it, it's the inopportune moment.
They win it back here. It's over the top, intended for Peck. Peck chests it down. It was poked away at the last moment by Jaden Reed. Another corner for the Galaxy coming up. Taken short, Royce. They've been hurrying up with these corners and taking them short. It's Peck driving it in. Meyer heads into the air. Taken away by Capita. He's got a one-on-one to try to get past Garces. Garces recovers and helps it back to the keeper. Good matchup of pace versus pace there. And now a foul called on Jake Davis. Well, Garces was the fastest player in MLS in 2025. He had to show every bit of it there to keep up with Capita. Now the Galaxy forward again. Paetzel. Nelson now left-hand side. Harbor Miller. Stagnant from the Galaxy here in the final third. Over the top it goes for Miller. Trying to drive in on Davis. Falls to Royce. He helped it along the penalty area, but Reed was there to clear away.
Sanabria steps out quicker. You get a 2v1 with Harbor Miller, and instead it's a little dinked ball. A half of an idea coming into the box, and you're just trying to band-aid all of these movements together to pull something out of it. Just hit the simple ball right in front of you. You know, really easy patterns that are present and just not efficient in their actions at all.
This is Calvin Harris. Garces has to show that speed once again. He gets it to Joveljic. Joveljic in the area. Chips the keeper perfectly. Dejan Joveljic will not stop scoring against the Galaxy. 2-0 Sporting.
And the inability to pull the trigger at the other end for the Galaxy has cost them. Second time in this match. Compressed really deep defensively, Sporting, but organized. And within it, great rotation off the ball. Sloppy by Paetzel. And just look at the space in between the two center backs. Beautiful touch by Harris. Love this. Coming horizontally back across. They hold position. Still gives them a 3v1. The step right up through by Bassong, and as they're off and running, just the understanding of where the next moment needs to come from. The vision, great touch, lures everybody in to sleep and possibly to bed just before halftime. Clinical counter from Sporting once again.
Cool as an assassin there, Joveljic, with that little flick at the end over the goalkeeper. He doesn't need many chances. He gets one good chance this half, and he makes it 2-0 Sporting. By the way, 2 assists so far for Calvin Harris in this match as well. Here's Peck coming down the right-hand side. Galaxy trying to pull one back the last moments of the half. Closed down by Basson. To ground he goes. Clean tackle, says the referee. Calhera. Good sliding tackle there by Cerrillo. Comes out to Capita with a nice half turn. Joveljic forward to Harris. Now Capita. There's space again for Sporting over to the right-hand side, and Jake Davis. Now Berg Janssen. Inside for Harris. He brings it down.
What a save.
Save, Marcinkowski. And that's the last action of the half.
What a surge by Sporting to close this half out. The entire first half just pinned defensively. But they've created really good one-on-one moments when they've come the other direction. Their decision-making has started to become more expansive coming forward. A commitment with numbers. And quite rightly so. They've doubled the lead.
Capita with a goal, Joveljic with a goal. It's 2-0 Sporting at the halfway point at Sporting Park.